Good evening. अरे आवाज We welcome all brothers and sisters in today's live meditation. Let us settle down in meditation. Let us devote this 1 hour for ourselves. Let us drop away all our thoughts coming from our past or future and be in present. Let us raise our Mother Kundalini and take collective Bandhan. Let us balance our left and right channels. For balancing our left channel, keep left hand open on our lap, right hand on Mother Earth. Let us request our Mother Kundalini. Mother, please cleanse my left channel. Mother, please remove all the negativities from my left channel into the Mother Earth. Let us observe the vibrations on our left palm and the fingertips. Our left channel represents our past. Slowly keep our right hand on our lap, left hand towards the sky. Let us balance our right channel. We request our Mother Kundalini, Mother, please cleanse my right channel. Please remove all the negativities from my right channel into the ether element. Our right channel represents the future. Mother, please remove all excessive heat from my right channel into the ether element. Please balance my right channel. Let us observe the vibrations on our right palm and the fingertips. Slowly keep both hands on our lap. Let us bring attention within our central channel, the Sushumna Nadi. The Sushumna Nadi represents the present. Let us observe the vibrations on our both palms and the fingertips. Let us keep our left hand on our heart chakra. Let us say 3 times. I am the pure spirit. I am not this body, not this mind. I am the pure spirit. Let us keep our right hand on our Sahasrara chakra. Press the palm on our Sahasrara, the limbic area, and rotate clockwise 7 times by saying, Mother, please give me my self-realization. By saying, Mother, please give me my self-realization. 7 times clockwise slowly. Slowly keep both hands on our lap. Attention on Sahasrara chakra. In the same state of meditation, we will listen the speech given by Sri Mataji.
I bow to all the seekers of truth. First, a guru has to be without desires, any desires also. Nirichya. There's one false guru in India who said that if I had the powers as mother has, then I would have become the king of this world. So people said, then why don't you become? Why doesn't mother become like that? Why doesn't she become the king? So they said, because she is nirichya, means she has no desires. A person who has no desires will not become anything. So I said, go and tell him, if you have desires, you cannot have powers also. It's only because you have no desires. That's why all these powers are. So, any desire that comes into your mind, you should say, forget it. Just forget it. When the desire is overpowering, you just divert your attention. Any kind of stupid desire can take charge. And how do you become desireless? Is by getting to the thoughtless awareness. Any crisis comes in, you should be able to rise into that state of thoughtless awareness. Just be peaceful. Look at your desires with peace. You can tell the desire, oh, I am very much satisfied, now don't come, I don't want. That's how you can become desireless. There is this compassion, and the compassion that becomes actually the power. Small things you can express your love. Very small things. In very sweet ways you can express your love. It's very important. The whole world needs today love and peace. And you have to give peace and love to everyone that is possible. Of course, Sahajogis is very easy, but even non-Sahajogis, you must treat them with respect and love. But you should not have a desire that you should get back anything from them. It's all right, whatever done is forgotten. You have known so many Sahajogis who came to Sahajoga, have gained so much and have betrayed us. Doesn't matter. Not important. Because they are going to be losers, not we. So, there's nothing to bother about these things. Then another thing is try to see that your mind doesn't react. Some people have a habit, or I think most of them have, to react. You tell them something, they'll put their own one tail with it, something. Never will they accept if somebody says something. If you are reacting, what will go into your heads? What will go into your heart? What will go into your attention? So the reaction itself is a sign of not proper development within yourself. This attention which is trying to go into all the areas of your mind and your body and everywhere is not there. It cannot enter, because as soon as it tries to enter, you shut it by reacting. You cannot see anything just for seeing sake. You must react. You say, this is not good, that's not good. If I say it's 5 o'clock, you say, no, it is 5 past 2 minutes, 3 seconds. This comes with terrible condition, which has to go away, not to react. Why should you react? Then the argument starts, then fight starts, then wars come. If you tell your mind, nothing doing, you are a myth, and I am not going to react to anything, 99.9% problems will be solved. Then the last but not the least is the ego. I can't understand a saint having an ego. Just can't understand. It's so stupid to have ego. It's a kind of a domination. If slightest things are wrong, you get angry. If somebody says something, you get angry. That means your power of love and compassion is still not full. You can, of course, correct people when they have to be corrected. But for that, you should have this power within yourself. The person should know that you are correcting that person because you love that person, not for selfishness, not for any gain. But this ego is a very big problem, and that comes up by, I should say, not only ignorance, but stupid ideas about yourself. If you think you are something great already, then what can you do? Ego makes you very arrogant, horrible. But if you are humble, really, not to just to have the humility of a businessman, but if you are humble from within yourself, from your heart, enjoying your humility, then this ego can run away. You have to ask yourself, now what are you angry for? Again I come back to the same point, introspection. Because you are not here just to carry on some jobs, but you are here to become saints. Then this ego should be made into a great instrument of love and joy. You can. It's not difficult. This one is what is ego is reactions to things. You can react to things in a sweet way, or you can react to things in a deadly way. Then humor comes in. Also, you speak as if there is fragrant flowers which are coming out. Then every action of yours, everything becomes very gentle and sweet. Have this ego that will be gentle, will be kind, will be sweet, will be forgiving, will be loving. Let's have this ego. Start with this kind of a ego the other way around. You will be surprised how you can really conquer the whole world. May God bless you.
Let us meditate for some more time. for giving us this wonderful opportunity to meditate collectively through online meditation. Let us finish our meditation by taking collective bandhan. We request our brothers and sisters to be with us. Today we are presenting the medical research seminar for the medical benefit of through Sahaja.
So first of all, what is meditation? So Shamila has very well already explained more or less what meditation is. And if you read the Oxford Dictionary of what is meditation, it's defined as concentrating hard on something. Now, this is not meditation. In the Eastern concept of meditation is actually to reduce your thinking and ultimately to achieve the state of cessation of thoughts. That's how Patanjali defined it. It was the first to talk about yoga, and that's what meditation really is. It's about stopping your thinking process. Now, in the West, in neurobiology, we know there are 3 states of consciousness: sleep, dream, and wakefulness. Yeah? And in the West, we think that thinking is the highest state of consciousness. But in the East, it's very well known that there is another state of consciousness which is higher than the thinking state, which is the state of thoughtless awareness, called Turiya Avastha, which means the 4th state of consciousness. So this state is a state where you enter the gap between the thoughts and you enter the present. You actually stop thinking. And this state has been associated with a lot of health benefits, and at subjective level, you achieve an overwhelming calmness. That's the first thing you notice when you stop thinking, because you can relax the body, you can lie on the sofa, listen to music, but you can never stop the mental clutter. The only way to stop this mental clutter, the mental motor going, the only way to stop this is by achieving a state of mental silence. So you achieve overwhelming calmness, which is better than relaxation, because in relaxation you can relax the body, but in meditation you relax the mind as well, the brain. Yeah? So mental silence is associated obviously with the reduction of thoughts, and therefore you have less mental clutter. And it has been shown that all mental disorders have more mental clutter. So people with schizophrenia, with ADHD, with obsessive-compulsive disorder, they all have these intrusive thoughts. They have more mental clutter, and that's why they have also attention problems. It has been shown the better you're able to switch off your mental clutter, the better your attention, which in a way is obvious because your thoughts interfere with your attention. So you achieve this mental balance, and I will show you later evidence for this. When you don't think, then you become pure attention, pure consciousness without the content, without the thoughts, and you experience reality as it really is, without throwing into reality constantly your thoughts and your emotions. So you basically are pure attention, pure consciousness, without all this mental clutter going on your head. And that's why you have much better attention. And it has been shown that people who meditate regularly have better attention and better productivity. Not really last, but you also while you achieve the state of mental silence, you feel joy, you feel bliss. So it's associated with positive emotions. And again, there is evidence that, mental silence is associated with activation of positive limbic areas of the brain, which are important for positive emotions. And it's, of course, very good for people with depression or anxiety. And last but not least, you achieve emotional detachment. And this is very, very important. If you remember why Buddha went out to find enlightenment or meditation, he realized that in the world there's suffering. Yeah, we all have negative life events. But it's the way you cope with them which determines whether you're a mentally healthy person or not. And in fact, doing meditation, because you achieve a different state of consciousness, you achieve a higher state of consciousness. You no longer identify with your thoughts and your emotions. Normally, if you don't know how to meditate, when negative things happen to you, you become depressed. If positive things happen to you, you become happy. So your emotions and your thoughts are always depending on the external life events. And we all go through negative life events. Our parents die, people we love die, or we go through divorce, or you lose your job, whatever it is. We always have negative life events. But if you achieve a way to cope with them, and if you enter a different state of consciousness, you can then influence your negative thoughts or your negative emotions rather than being constantly identified with them. And that, I think, is the key to meditation. And I will show you some evidence meditation makes you more detached. And this is, of course, associated with better emotional control and better resilience. Now, what I will show you, these are basically the claims I'm going to try to prove. Meditation, mental silence, reduces stress because it activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is here, which Shamila talked about, which is important for rest and relax and restoration of bodily functions. Meditation is a different state of consciousness, so brain imaging studies have shown that something happens, you activate areas of attention and you activate areas of positive emotions. The limbic system, like Shamila mentioned, which lies here in the brain. And meditation leads to better physical and mental health. So if you're already healthy, you become more healthy when you meditate. And if you have illnesses, meditation has shown to improve your problems of mental illnesses or physical illnesses. So, first of all, what happens in the body? Now, we've already seen this chakra chart, and this left and right channel, they're not just, airy-fairy concepts. They actually correspond to the sympathetic nervous system, like Shamila already explained. One corresponds to the left sympathetic nervous system, one to the right sympathetic nervous system, and the central channel, which all religions also talk about, the central channel, the middle part in alchemy and so on. The central channel actually corresponds to the parasympathetic nervous system. And this parasympathetic nervous system connects to the limbic area of the brain, which is the area which is important for love and emotion and compassion. So, it's okay. So, when you're normally active during the day, for example, usually you activate the sympathetic nervous system. You're in a mode of fight or flight. And this, of course, in the old days, you might have been running away from a snake or a lion, but nowadays you may have a deadline where you have to really work hard to stress yourself out to meet the deadline or the exam. Or if you miss the deadline, then you may be dismissed from your job, and either way you're stressed. So during the day, you're usually in a fight or flight activity, and this needs to be balanced by the parasympathetic nervous system. Now, this system is important for rest and relax, and is usually activated when you sleep. So, during the sympathetic nervous system, so when you're active during the day, you have usually you have all the stress symptoms. You have dry mouth, sweaty palms. Your breathing is increased, your heart rate is increased, you have more blood supply to the muscles because you need this for your activity, and you have increased adrenaline release, especially when you're stressed, when you have exam, and so on. Now, when you're resting, when you're sleeping, the opposite happens, and you need this balance to to restore all your bodily functions. So when you activate the parasympathetic nervous system during sleep, you have the exact opposite. So you have dry palms, you have less breathing, your heart rate goes down, your blood supplies all the internal organs, and so on, and you have the digestion goes better. So basically, what has been shown in research on Sahaja Yoga meditation, that Sahaja Yoga meditation activates the parasympathetic nervous system more than rest. And this, of course, can explain why meditation can cure you from organic problems, organic damage, because you have more blood supply to all the organs, and you're in a state of super rest. And I will show you here. These are several studies done by Professor Rai, who was a professor of physiology in India, and he showed that in the meditation, compared to rest, I mean, during rest you already activate the parasympathetic nervous system, but during meditation you activate it even more. So there is a decrease in heart rate, decrease in breathing rate, decrease in pulse rate, decrease in blood pressure, oxygen metabolism, and all other symptoms which are indicative that the sympathetic nervous system goes down and the parasympathetic nervous system goes up. And I just show you a few examples. So for example, this is the blood pressure. These are controls. These are meditators who meditate for 12 weeks, and you can see the decrease during the meditation of the blood pressure. And you see these are people who meditate only 8 weeks, only 4 weeks. So the longer you meditate, the more you actually achieve a reduction of the parasympathetic nervous system in the meditation. And this is another example. This is the heart rate. Again, the heart rate is significantly reduced in long-term meditators. And if you only have been meditating for weeks, you already have the benefit, but you will get more benefit the longer you meditate. And so on, and he's shown this for all these parameters. So there is clear evidence that meditation increases the parasympathetic activity, and that's important for resting and restoration of bodily functions. So all your body functions are actually increased during meditation and benefited, and that can explain why meditation is good for physical problems. Now, we've heard from Shamila that when you meditate, you feel a cool breeze in the hands and on top of the head. Now, this, again, you know, some people, when they're new, you may think this is autosuggestion or you're imagining this. This is not the case. So studies have shown that when people meditate, there is a drop in temperature on the hands and the palm of the hands compared to rest. And this correlates with the state of mental silence. So this is very unique also to Sahaja Yoga meditation. The more you achieve the mental silence, the more cool breeze you feel on your hands and on top of your head. And this cool breeze has been described in all the scriptures. In the Bible, it's called the cool flame of the Holy Ghost. And you see in the Buddhist art, you always have the enlightened people with some kind of flame here. It's a cool flame, not a hot flame. Felt as cool. And you can also see in the Christian arts, all the saints have the halo. Mary and Jesus always have a halo, and all the saints. And El Greco has some pictures where you see also flames coming up of the 12 disciples of Jesus Christ. So this is really there. There is a drop in temperature. And it's a good indicator. If you feel cool breeze on your hands, you're very likely to have achieved the state of mental silence. So that's a good way of measuring, because it correlates. The more mentally silent, the better, the more cooler you become. So this was the body. So we've seen that Sahaja Yoga meditation activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is important for the restoration of bodily functions. Now, we want to see what happens in the brain. There have been several brain imaging studies. There are several imaging methods. One is electroencephalography, which is a little bit superficial, so you only measure the cortex. And this is a study where I've been involved in using fMRI, which is magnetic resonance imaging. So in both of these methods, though, have shown the same. And what they've shown is that long-term meditators, the more thoughtless they are, the more activate an area in the brain which is very important for attention and inhibiting thoughts, for example. The inferior frontal lobe here, and it becomes progressively more in the right hemisphere. And the EEG studies show that a slow wave theta activity is activated. Now, in the brain, there's several frequencies of brain activity. The very high frequent activities, they are activated when you're stressed, when you have a strong emotional feelings, or when you play chess, for example, when you concentrate hard. Now, the theta activity comes from the limbic system. It's a very slow wave activity, and it's the relaxed state of attention. So what you get during meditation is a very relaxed state of attention. And this correlates with the state of mental silence. And you see that in fMRI, when you start to meditate, you have more activation. But as you go deeper, the activation shrinks, and you get very little activity here, just in the key area for deep, concentrated attention. Now also, as you feel bliss, because I said before, when you're in meditation, when your thinking stops, you feel bliss, you feel happy. So during the feelings of happiness, you get again this theta activity, which comes from the limbic system, which is important for emotions. And it focuses on these frontal regions, which are very important for positive emotions. So in the brain, there is in fact evidence that you activate areas of positive emotion and of deep concentration. And this is, of course, very interesting because this is exactly how in Sanskrit meditation is labeled. They call it Satchit Ananda, which means being pure attention and pure bliss. This is exactly what you see in brain imaging studies. What is also important, especially in my view, because I work with mental disorders, and people with mental illness have more mental clutter. I've said it before, but what you see in people who meditate, so this is during the resting state when you don't meditate, this is when you go into meditation. This is an index of mental clutter. So you get much less mental clutter in the brain when you meditate. And this is of course logical, because meditation is all about reducing the thinking. But it's of course very good because, as I said, people with schizophrenia, attention deficits, obsessive-compulsive disorder, they all have more mental clutter. And this is what interferes with the daily life. And for example, if you're schizophrenic, you have paranoid thinking. If you're obsessive, you have obsessive thoughts. Or if you're depressive, you have rumination. This interferes with your daily life. But if you have a way of reducing the mental clutter, then this is much better for your mental health. And it has, as I said, it has also been shown to be really good for your attention, which is logical, because if you don't have mental clutter, you have better attention. So lastly, I will show you a very interesting, we're talking about, this is about brain chemistry. Now, you know we have a lot of neurochemicals in the brain. They help us for our attention functions or our emotion functions, basically all functions. There are some transmitters in the brain which are so-called happy chemicals. They give you happiness or positive emotions. And some of them are, for example, the beta endorphins. Beta endorphins are released when you in love, or they're released when you do sports on fresh air. And you may have heard of the runner's high. People get a high from running. Or people get a high from, before I was doing meditation, I was very addicted to snowboarding or surfing. You know, a lot of people are into these sports because they release beta endorphins, which make you happy. And in fact, in Sahaja Yoga, these beta endorphins are released here significantly more than in controls. And what is interesting about these beta endorphins, that they are produced by the body, so they're good drugs. And opium, for example, binds to exactly the same receptors like beta endorphins. So we think that people who look for drugs, subconsciously, you know, human being knows we have the capacity to feel bliss and happiness, and we're all looking for it. And we can achieve it through meditation. But people who go into drugs probably trying to find it somewhere else because they don't know how to meditate. And the same probably for people who go into sports or other things, or become addicted to love, which is the same principle. This is a study which was not done in Sahaja Yoga meditation, but another kind of meditation. They found enhanced dopamine. So again, dopamine is also released when you take opium or heroin. And this is a drug important for pleasure. So what this shows you that meditation leads to the release of happy chemicals which make you happy and give you positive emotions, and they also make you addicted. And in meditation, if you've been meditating for a while, and those who've been long-term meditators, we all know that meditation does make you addicted, because when you feel the bliss, you want to have it again and again, and you continue meditating. And I don't understand how people stop meditating, because some people do, but they may be forgetting that they have this bliss. So lastly, this is a very interesting study which has shown that meditators are more detached. And I find this very important. This is the only study which has ever been conducted to test this hypothesis. And as I said, to me, that's the most important feature of meditation, that you become more detached and you become more resilient to negative life events. So they showed people who meditated for long term and controls, they showed them a really stressful movie. It's called Funny Games from Michael Haneke. I'm not sure you've seen it. I've never managed to watch till not even the first quarter or so. It's about teenagers who go into a house and they kill everybody, starting by the dog. And it's, as I said, really horrible. So after the movie, they tested the psychological rating of their emotions, of the controls, which are the blues, and the meditators, which are the red ones. And the meditators keep their cool much more, so the controls have much more effect from the movie. So they feel more sad, they feel more contempt, they feel more disgusted, more anger, so they react much stronger to the movie. Then they measured in the skin the sympathetic nervous activity, which indicates stress. And again, the meditators are much less stressed at the body level. Then they measured the brain while they're watching the movie. And gamma activity is a very high frequent activity. So this is the opposite of theta. This is activity when you're emotionally stressed. And you can see after the movie, the controls have this high gamma activity. They're emotionally highly stressed. While the meditators show no brain response. They're the same like before the movie. So they keep their cool. So basically what this shows is when you're meditating and you're exposed to stressful stimuli, you keep your cool much better at the psychological level, at the body level, and at the brain level. And this is really important because, as I said, we all go through negative life events. There is no way of avoiding it, but it's how you cope with them and how resilient you are and how strong you're able to actually be detached and not get carried away by all those negative events which happen to you. That determines whether you will be healthy or whether you will develop depression or anxiety or whatever. And I think this is really important. And as I said, this is what Buddha was aiming at when he saw there's a lot of suffering in the world. He wanted to find a method where you cope with all the negative life events, and meditation is one of them. So what about effects on your health? This study I really like because I think it's great. They have tested 350 Sahaja yoga meditators in Australia, and they had to score on sort of established medical questionnaires of their physical health, their mental health, general health. They found that the Sahaja yoga meditators were better than the controls and better than another group of meditators. But what was very interesting is then he tested what makes you more healthy when you meditate. Is it the hours of meditation? Is it how many meditation meetings you attend? Is it all the rituals you do, the mantras? And he tested everything, and he found there's only one thing which determines how good you are which determines whether you're better in your mental or your general health. And that is the state of thoughtless awareness. So what he found, for example, these are people who achieve thoughtless awareness once or twice per month. This is the Australian average. So if you only achieve thoughtless awareness once or twice per month, you're not better than the average. But if you become thoughtless once or twice per week or once or twice per day, and you can see there's a gradual increase. So the more you achieve the thoughtless awareness, the better is your mental health. And these are the people who achieve thoughtless awareness several times a day. If you do this, you're really extremely high. You can't see the score, but you reach the top of the mental health score, so you're the most mentally healthy person in the world. And he found the same for This is general health, so exactly same. This is the Australian average, and the more silent you achieve, this is several times mental silence per day, the more healthy you are. Then this is again from Ramesh Manocha, which is a bit cut off here, but he then tested the same people on a questionnaire which picks up depression and anxiety. And again, he found the same thing. So the yogis are less likely to be distressed. And again, it's how often they achieve the state of mental silence determines in which category they are. So basically, the more you achieve mental silence, the more are you in a really low risk category. And you can see this is the purple here. So those who achieve mental silence several times per day are really in a low risk category, which means they will never develop depression or anxiety. So if you meditate regularly, you're very unlikely to develop depression or anxiety. And this is important. The WHO has published data where 1 in 3 will develop depression. Is already, at the moment it's 1 in 4, but this will increase in the next years. So the conclusion is Sahaja Yoga has a significant beneficial effect on your health, and the benefits are associated with the state of mental silence. Now this also means that if you want to achieve a health benefit with meditation, you have to use or pick meditation techniques which teaches you to achieve the mental silence. And as you know, there are many meditation techniques out there, and stretching the body with yoga will not do the trick. You really have to achieve the state of mental silence, because that is what works, and not anything else. So you have to, and in my knowledge, Sahaja Yoga is one of the best in my view, but there are very few other meditation techniques which actually teach you to stop your thinking. For example, mindfulness meditation helps you reduce your thinking, but they don't show you how to stop it. And that's the key thing. You have to learn to achieve this mental silence. So what about illnesses? There have been several studies on mental illness and on physical illness. So once you're ill, you can also use Sahaja Yoga meditation as a treatment. And this is a study, the first study is a study which was conducted in Exeter University by Adam Morgan. And he used a group of people with depression, and he taught them either Sahaja Yoga meditation, or they did nothing, or they used cognitive behavioral therapy, which is a treatment which works and which you get at the NHS. But as you can see, Sahaja Yoga meditation was significantly better than the traditional treatment from the NHS. And it was better in improving the anxiety of the people, the depression, and the general mental illness. And of course, if you can use a treatment which doesn't involve medication, then that's much better. This is a study on work stress, also by Ramesh Manocha in Australia. He tested people who feel stressed at work, and almost everybody nowadays is in that situation. He gave them 2 months of Sahaja Yoga meditation, or he gave them transcendental meditation, which is this pink one here. And the transcendental meditation did not work, but the Sahaja Yoga meditation significantly improved the symptoms of work stress, so people felt less stressed after 2 months of Sahaja Yoga meditation. They felt less depressed, and this didn't reach significance, but was also better, as you can see. So, of course, we know why this is, because Sahaja Yoga meditation activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which de-stresses the body, and that could, of course, be the effect. It could also be because of the effects we've seen on the brain. Yeah, I can talk a bit about it. So this is a study by Wolfgang Hackel in Austria. He tested meditators, and he checked after a year whether they would stop their drug consumption. And of course, this was anonymous. What he found is that after a year, only 77% still took their drugs, and they took all sorts of drugs, cocaine, heroin, marijuana, and alcohol, whatever. But what is really remarkable that after only 1 week, he found a reduction in the drug consumption. in almost 60%. And this is quite remarkable. There's no other treatment you have where you actually stop taking your drugs so quickly after only 1 week. And I think this is because what they've shown you, that Sahaja Yoga meditation activates those beta endorphins, dopamine. You have all these happy chemicals released, which you also activate with the drugs. But if you can achieve it with meditation, then you don't need the drugs. And of course the drugs have side effects. And if you take drugs for a long time, you have a rebound effect. You develop anhedonia and you don't find any pleasure anymore. So this is of course much better because this doesn't have any side effects.
And cheaper.
And it's cheaper, much cheaper. Well, that's also true. This is a study I was involved in where we tested effects on attention deficit, hyperactivity disorder. These are children who are restless, hyperactive, and inattentive. So we thought, of course, meditation would calm them down, but also we thought because meditation enhances attention areas of the brain, it would improve their attention. And we found a significant reduction of all the symptoms, so they become less inattentive, less restless. And this happened despite the fact that most of them even stopped their medication, so they still improved. What is interesting that the effect is very similar to that which you see with stimulant medication, and nowadays ADHD children are treated with stimulants like amphetamine kind of drugs. And they have, of course, side effects. They work very well, but they have side effects. So if you can achieve the same with meditation, then that's, of course, better because you don't get the side effects. So what about physical illnesses? Yoga meditation, there's a significant reduction of the epileptic attacks, and even more after 6 months. And the control condition didn't do anything. So this shows that Sahaja Yoga meditation is good for physical illness like epilepsy. It's not clear why, maybe because it activates the parasympathetic nervous system, or maybe because of the brain changes. This is a study on asthma, which is a very physical disorder, and they gave them 2 months of 2 weekly sessions of Sahaja Yoga meditation, and there was a significant improvement of the asthma severity. And what is interesting about this study is that after the 2 months, they followed them up after another month. So then after the 2 months, people actually stopped meditating. And what happened after the month, they went back and the asthma severity came back. So what this shows, of course, which is logical, that if you do meditation to improve your physical or mental health, you have to do it continuously. You can't just do it for a month and then as soon as you're better, you stop. And then your bad health will come back. But this is the same with medication, of course. And you have to do it on a regular basis. And of course, a lot of people don't have the discipline to continue. This is a study on menopause. Again, very interesting. He found a reduction on the hot flushes, which was very similar to the hormone replacement therapy. And hormone replacement therapy is associated with cancer risk. So it's, of course, better to use this rather than a drug which predisposes you to cancer. So Sahaja Yoga meditation has shown beneficial effect on mental and physical health, and there have never been any side effects. So all the studies so far have been positive. So to conclude, so we've learned that Sahaja Yoga meditation enhances the parasympathetic nervous system. That is crucial for the restoration of the body functions. What we will do is activate this limbic system, which is where my last slide is. If you follow this slide, you will see where we're going. And this is exactly the kingdom of God, the mental silence. And if you want to know more, there are a few web pages which tell you more about the research. Thank you.